I'm Stacy, 70, standing in my backyard, watching my 8-year-old grandson Leo chase a butterfly across the grass. I'm filled with a bittersweet sense of peace. It's been a year since my husband, Henry, passed away. The past year has been a journey of healing and transformation. My son, Ethan, is flipping burgers on the grill that Henry loved so much, while my daughter Lily is arranging a platter of fresh fruit nearby. Our family, once torn apart, has now come back together stronger than ever. But it wasn't always like this. I remember the day of Henry's funeral like it was yesterday. The church was filled with lilies and roses, Henry's favorites, but all I could smell was the overwhelming grief. As I sat in the front pew, my hands trembling, I stared at his casket, thinking about the 50 beautiful years we'd spent together. Ethan and his wife, Vanessa, walked in through the side door. Ethan looked so much like Henry, but his eyes were cold and distant. Vanessa, with her designer black dress and diamond earrings, looked more like she was going to a business meeting than a funeral. They hadn't visited Henry in the hospital during his final weeks, always making excuses about being too busy. The service started. The pastor spoke about Henry's life, but my mind was lost in memories. Our wedding day, the birth of our children, and the quiet evenings on the porch watching the sunset together. Then it was time for family to speak. Lily went first, her voice breaking as she shared stories of her father. Ethan declined to speak and just sat there rigidly beside Vanessa, who kept whispering in his ear. Finally, it was my turn. As I approached the podium, my legs felt like lead. I started to speak about Henry, and tears flowed freely. But then, I heard Vanessa's voice. Look at those crocodile tears. She shouldn't even be crying. Everyone knows they were practically separated. The words hit me like a physical blow. Ethan didn't defend me. He just looked away, his face flushed with embarrassment. After the service, we went to the attorney's office to hear Henry's will. Vanessa was impatient, constantly checking her watch and talking about what to do with the house. The attorney said there was a letter to be read first. When I opened the letter with Henry's familiar handwriting, my hands trembled. Henry's letter was filled with love and wisdom. He thanked me for the 50 years we'd shared, expressed his concerns about Ethan drifting away from our values, and praised Lily for her strength. Then the attorney started reading the will. To me, Henry left our family home and a monthly stipend. To Lily, he left $100,000 and his collection of rare books. To Ethan, he left only $10,000, but he established a $250,000 trust fund for Leo's education. The rest of his estate, including his investments and life insurance proceeds, he left to the Henry and Stacy Foundation, which he'd set up to support research on Alzheimer's disease, a cause close to our hearts since we'd lost our nephew to it. Vanessa was furious. She demanded that Ethan contest the will, saying it was unfair. But the attorney informed us that Henry had anticipated this challenge. He'd left detailed records of all the financial assistance he'd given to Ethan over the years, which totaled over $300,000. Contesting the will would make these records public. After that, Vanessa took to Facebook, spreading lies about Henry and me, saying we'd manipulated him into changing the will. The damage spread quickly, and our phones started buzzing with texts and calls from relatives and acquaintances. One day, Ethan came to my house looking lost. He said Vanessa wanted him to contest the will and that he was trapped between her and me. I told him that if he contested the will, he'd lose and destroy our relationship. I also mentioned that Henry had left something for him, a chance to remember who he really was. That evening, Vanessa came to my house, trying to convince me to contest the will with them. She said Ethan deserved his fair share. I told her that Henry knew exactly what he was doing and that she'd never really cared about our family. She threatened that Ethan would choose her over me. The next morning, I received a text from Ethan saying that Vanessa wanted him to move out of state. Just then, I remembered the mysterious key Henry had left me. In our bedroom closet, behind Henry's suits, I found a small safe. With trembling fingers, I inserted the key. Inside was an envelope with my name on it. When I opened the envelope, I found damning evidence of Vanessa's deception. Bank statements showed large withdrawals from Ethan's accounts and transfers to her own. Credit card statements revealed luxury purchases, while she claimed they were struggling financially. There were also screenshots of her private messages with her friends, mocking our family and planning to cash in after Henry's death. Worst of all, there was a consultation letter from a divorce attorney showing that she'd been planning to leave Ethan after getting the inheritance. Before I could decide what to do, Ethan came to my house again. He'd had a fight with Vanessa and left. He said she'd admitted that she never really loved Henry and that we were just stepping stones to her desired lifestyle. I decided to show Ethan the evidence. As he read through it, he was filled with shock, disbelief, and then deep sadness. He realized how blind he'd been and how much he'd hurt me and Henry. Ethan was determined to file for divorce, but he was worried about Leo. Vanessa started posting horrible things about Ethan on Facebook, claiming he was mentally unstable. But Ethan finally took a stand. He posted the truth about his marriage on Facebook, and soon, he received support from friends and family. Vanessa threatened to take Leo and move out of state, but I told Ethan that Henry had planned for this. Henry had always been a step ahead, leaving us a way to deal with Vanessa. The court date for the custody hearing was set. Thanks to Henry's evidence, the judge awarded Ethan primary custody of Leo, and Vanessa was granted supervised visitation. She left the state shortly after, moving in with a new boyfriend. As I sit here now, looking at my family, I'm reminded of the journal I found in the garage. In it, Henry wrote about his concerns for Ethan, his pride in Lily, and his undying love for me. He also explained his decisions in the will, saying that he wanted to give Ethan a chance to come back to us. Ethan, now sitting beside me, asks, "Do you think he knew how it would all turn out?" I look at him and say with certainty, "Yes, he always did. He believed in you even when you didn't believe in yourself." The pain of losing Henry will never completely go away, but it has been transformed into a beautiful legacy of love and a stronger family. I'm eternally grateful for the path Henry laid out for us, guiding us back to each other when we needed it most.